Senate Committee on Transportation, Infrastructure, and Public Safety will now come to order. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Fitzwater. What do I do?
Oh, Schnelting. Say your name.
Schnelting.
Yep. Aye. Here.
Brown. Gregory. Schroer.
Here.
Washington. Weber.
Okay, without a quorum, we're going to enter right into subcommittee and begin hearing on House Bills 37 by Representative Billington. If you would go ahead and come on up, Representative. Just go ahead and proceed when you are ready, sir. Sorry, I thought we had to do that first. And then affirm that we don't have one. I guess we don't. Okay, cool.
Thank you, Chairman and member of the committee. In my honor today to present House Bill 37, which seeks to design a bridge on State Highway WW that trot or the railroad in the city of Pop Bluff at the center of Bill Foster Bridge. Bill Foster was more than a public servant. He was dedicated a leader, a businessman, a tall advocate for Southeast Missouri. His life work left a lasting impact on the region. The only thing that we should honor the legend in a way that it show future generations remember him. Senator Foster served to the state span decade. He represented the people of Wayne County, surrounding region as state representative from 1993 to 2001, and as state senator from 2001 to 2004. Beyond that career, he continued to serve the Missouri as a deputy the Director of the Department of Natural Resources, working to improve conservative effort and public service program across the state. He also was the mayor of Poplar Bluff, and Poplar Bluff, I don't know how many have ever been in Poplar Bluff, but back when I was a little kid, many years ago, there was a railroad track turning the center of town, and you had to go trot the railroad track to get to the hospital and other business downtown. And I remember waiting hour and hour for the train to go by. And when he was mayor of Pop Bluff in 1980, he really worked very, very hard. Everybody said he couldn't get done, but he just kept working and got a bridge over the overpass. And the overpass that bridge, well, I wanted to name Bill Foster Bridge. So I would appreciate your support in that bill. Be happy to take any traction.
Thank you, Representative. Appreciate you bringing the bill forward. Any questions for the representative? Seeing none. We will enter into public testimony for the bill. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of House Bill 37? Anyone here to testify in favor? Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to House Bill 37? Opposition. Anyone here to testify for informational purposes only? All right, seeing none, that'll conclude the hearing on House Bill 37. Now, Representative, while we have you here, would you like to begin on House Bill 42 as well?
Yes.
Yeah, please proceed.
Chairman and committee, thank you for letting me on House Bill 42. It's a structural attempt to combat the growing catalytic converter theft in Missouri. They're trying to hit in Hurlbert, Missouri Hall. Theft had sold a cat converter under a minute. It sold for trick cat and leave victim with pay bill up to $2,000 or more. I mean, they robbed church budget, church van, police vehicle. I am aware where people had got killed by people selling cat converter. Total cat converter near impossible to trace. HB42 saying that was a simple solution. And what the solution is, at any time a detached cat converter there had to be a paper trail at the VIN number. And that bill should not really get in trouble with any business or individual. If you selling a cat converter, you got to provide the VIN number and a readable set. But your theft, it made it a little tougher to hide. I had contacted GM a few years back, and they said they all planned to put the VIN number on the catalytic converter when they build it, but it'll take a long time and take a lot of money. So I would just support on that bill. I think it really would save the people in Missouri a lot of money and time.
Thank you. Any questions for the bill sponsor? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Representative.
Thank
We'll enter into testimony on House Bill 42. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of House Bill 42? Just go ahead and come forward, sir. Just fill out, make sure you have your witness form filled out, and just begin when you're ready.
Thanks, sir. In favor, Mr. Chairman. My name is Trent Ford. I'm a registered lobbyist for the Recycled Materials Association, here in favor of House Bill 42. In March of 2021, one of the materials that in catalytic converters to make the catalyst to make the catalytic converter work went as high as $30,000 an ounce. That also coincides with the peak of when the catalytic converters were being stolen in 22. After that, states all over the United States states all over the country went to, started looking at that, and Missouri was no different. We had gotten one for, Senator Carla May had a bill in 22 that really did put some of the, enforced these laws to a higher degree, and the big thing was it came with a Class E felony. With the metals prices are absolutely dropping, and with this language, we really think that people like Representative Billington have done a good job. This etching project is one of the things that we have in our toolbox as far as an advocacy group that we think is a good idea. I think that's it. If you'd like any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Appreciate your testimony.
Thank you.
Any questions for the witness? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much.
None?
I know, right? Just quiet.
She can say
quiet.
whatever she wants. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here to testify in favor of House Bill 42? Anyone else in favor? Those in opposition of House Bill 42? Anyone here in opposition? Anyone here for informational purposes only? Just go ahead and proceed when you're ready.
Mr. Chairman, Shannon Cooper today representing Advantage Metals Recycling. Go on record information. We've talked to the committee chairman as well as the House sponsor on the bill. We'd like to see the word detached added to line 24 so that it reads, anyone selling a detached catalytic converter. Our company purchases hundreds, if not thousands, of salvaged vehicles every month that have attached catalytic converters on them. And obviously we have different paperwork requirements for those vehicles. So for the detached converters, we have no issue with this bill as long as it's clear that they are detached. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the bill sponsor, or for the bill, for the witness, rather? All right, seeing none.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. All right, anyone else here to testify for informational purposes only? All right, seeing none, that will conclude the hearing on House Bill 42. Thank you, Representative. Do you have any closing remarks? Is there anything you would like to say in closing?
No,
Good.
I agree with that language that we talked about adding to the bill.
Great, thank you, Representative.
Appreciate y'all.
We're going to go next to a House Committee substitute for House Bill 570, or excuse me, House Bill, let's do 969, because I see Representative Knight is over there in the corner already. Representative, just go ahead and proceed when you're ready.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, and Assistant Madam Chair. Jeff Knight of the 142nd here to present House Bill 969. This was built over on our side, but I think you've heard most of it. Deals with the sharing of information for federal officers, anybody involved in the judiciary. It takes the inspections from 150,000 miles over that, or anything older than 2012, where you would still have to do that. It does have a temporary license issue that if it would actually allow police officers to pull over someone who has something over 70 days expired, they can be charged with a fine. They can get that fine reimbursed if they go ahead and register their car within 30 days, and on the second offense, they can impound their car. Stagger the collection of alternative fuel decals, transparent license plate covers, selling vehicles on liens. It eliminates the 90-day temp tag down to 30. Allows occupational therapists to issue the disabled plates. On the windshield placards, it goes from 4 years to 8 years. Licensed, if anyone knowingly completes an inspection incorrectly, there is disciplinary action from the DOR. It adds Space Force to license plates, Missouri Conservation Heritage Foundation to license plates, Afghanistan veteran to license plate. The underlying bill was actually motorsports, franchise fee agreements for UTVs and ATVs. If that contract was ever broke, they would have to repurchase any items that they required them to sell their vehicles. And the last part was trailers, campers, and fifth wheels, and the fee they can charge, and they remit it to the Department of Revenue to upkeep their IT program. And with that, I'll take any questions.
You got a lot going on in this bill, Representative.
It's
that time of year.
it's a nice little pile of bills.
Yeah. Any questions for the bill sponsor? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
testimony, Representative. Anyone here to testify in favor of House Bill 969? Please go ahead and come forward. Make sure you have your witness form filled out, and just proceed when you are ready, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Doug Smith, President and CEO of the Missouri Automobile Dealers Association. We represent 375 new car dealers across the state, another 48 RV dealers across the state, about 50 power sports dealers, and about 300 independents. We would like to go on record in support of this bill. It has several things in here that we agree with, and these have been needed fixes for a couple years now. As you are all aware, the way cars are titled, registered, and the sales taxes are paid on them are going to radically change in about 14 months. This will clean up a lot of that process, create some parameters for people to follow. We're very supportive of about everything in here. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you like.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Anyone else in favor of House Bill 969? Just go ahead and proceed when you're ready, sir.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee. Joshua Shoemaker with Department of Revenue. And we just want to go on record in support of the following provisions in this bill. The flat fee registration, alternative fuel decal, disabled placard provisions, biennial registration, and motor vehicle dealer changes. Those provisions were in one of our legislative proposals that was filed as House Bill 775 and Senate Bill 585. And for that, we would like to go on record in support. I can take any questions.
Great. Seen any questions? All right. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Thank you for your testimony. Anyone else here to testify in favor of House Bill 969? Just go ahead and proceed when you're ready, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. For the record, James Harris representing Carvana, here to testify in support of this, specifically sections 301.390 and sections 307.380. They have been heard in this committee before, and Ben Baker's, Representative Baker's 799, Representative Bromley's 247, and Representative Pollitt's 378. There is a provision or a line we'd like to strike out of that. It's just something as we've gone through talking with other groups. I've given that to the chairman, but I'll email that again, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions? See none. Thank you very much. Anyone else here to testify in favor of House Bill 969? Anyone here to testify in opposition to 969? Anyone here for informational purposes only? Seeing none, that'll conclude the hearing on House Bill 969. We will now move into House Committee substitute for House Bill 572. If Representative Hurlbert would like to step on up. And just go ahead and proceed when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My lovely assistants are still on I-70 on their way down here, so I'm glad yours got to spend the day with you. So, here to present, again, for the record, Representative Josh Hurlbert, District 8, Clay and Clinton Counties, here to present House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572. This one is another one that grew large on the House floor. Have about 24 different bills in this package. It's kind of a transportation omnibus. The underlying bill was an idea of mine that in a post-lawsuit world with MoDOT not necessarily having to have their budget each year reviewed by the legislature, that if they ever went over 20% of their expenditures being internal versus external, they could end up losing a half cent of the gas tax for a year, just to get them as a hammer to get them keep their internal expenses down. So right now MoDOT's running about 15% and will be for quite a while, especially with the large projects going on. So this is more of just of a belt and suspender approach, just to make sure we stay within traditional guidelines that way. So other bills in here, a lot of it you just heard from Representative Knight. The Department of Revenue language is in here as well. We've got language in here that would allow Congressional Medal of Honor recipients to have signs on their city limits, as well as the populations being put back on city limit signs. There's just one section in here at the very end, section 226.096, which was my original House Bill 1369, that there's been a decent amount of conversation with the Department of Transportation over, and we really don't think that that needs to be put in statute any further. So I'd be entertaining any changes made on this side to strike that language out of the bill. But other than that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Representative. Any questions for the representative? Pretty easy. Thank you very much for your testimony. Anyone here to testify in favor of House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Just go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Yeah. Good afternoon again. Josh Shoemaker with Department of Revenue, and same testimony as the testimony for House Bill 969. The exact same provisions are in there that was a part of the department's proposal. And I do want to add those provisions will result in department efficiencies as well as efficiencies for customers that come in for those services. So for that, I'd like to go on record in support.
Well, we like department efficiency, right?
We do too.
Well, thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? All right, seeing none. Thank you. Anyone else to testify in favor of House Committee Substitute for House Bill 969 or 572? My bad. Just go ahead and begin when you're ready, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, and your assistant, I'm here, Tom Crawford, on behalf of Missouri Trucking Association. I'd like to go on record in support of the non-consensual towing provisions that are in the bill. Those are in Section 304.162, and that is a provision that is something that we've been working on for several years, trying to provide some process and procedures for non-consensual towing that occurs on our interstates, usually as a result of an accident when we can't call our own tow truck. We have zero issues or issues that we're willing to deal with when we call them ourselves, but when we have them called out on us, that is where we run into problems, and this procedure would put some policies in place to help prevent some of those problems from occurring. I would like to also provide some concern relative to the provisions that are the underlying bill to start with, and the concern being the loss of highway road funds. If they do kind of go beyond, we appreciate the transparency and the attempt to try to rein MoDOT in on the administrative costs. We're just concerned that the pain is going to be felt by the public, not by MoDOT, as it relates to anything as a result of kind of dialing back those road funds. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Anyone else here to testify in favor of House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Just go ahead and proceed when you're ready, sir.
Hello, my name is Corey Henry. I'm with the BMWED Teamsters Rail Conference. I want to go on record showing that we are in favor of this House bill here, especially when it involves the railroad safety crossing stuff that's in it there. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to ask.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for being here. Anyone else to testify in favor of House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Or, excuse me. Yeah. HCS, that's right, yeah. Go ahead and just begin when you're ready. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Again, James Harris representing the Owner-Operator Independent Driver Association based out of Grain Valley, supportive of House Bill 572, specifically the sections in 304.162 on pages 64 through 67 dealing with the non-consensual towing. We've been working on this issue for a couple of years now. We think we've got a good draft. This is very similar, the wording here, to Senator Justin Brown's bill that was over here, but just to allow some type of recourse for truckers when they have a dispute on a bill to try to work it out and resolve it in a fair way and avoid litigation. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the bill sponsor, or for the witness? All right, thank you. Anyone else here to testify in favor of a House Committee substitute for House Bill 572? Anyone here to testify in opposition? Just go ahead and make sure we have a witness form filled out, sir, and begin when you're ready, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Jared Ennis. I'm president of Missouri Tow Truck Association. I have 3 companies located in Platte City, Missouri, Liberty, Mound City, and St. Joseph. We're against the towing portion of this bill. The current statute has had a dispute model for about 25 years. It's hardly been used. If there's a disagreement, a bond can be posted with the court, and then the court will take up any issues that might be with it and make a determination. We are fine for having a board made up, but we need to have experts on that board to review some of these bills if there is a dispute. You can't have 7 people on a board with one of them being a tower. They don't understand what equipment costs, what it costs to run a business, and what those jobs cost. So we're willing to work to get something good that's good for both sides, not just for one. Other major issues with this bill is not allowing price per pound. With incident management, secondary accidents are the most deadly and most costly for anything. So price per pound bills by the pound of the vehicle. It doesn't matter if you take 4 hours or 8 hours, you get paid the same. So there's incentives for companies to get it done quickly, not milk the clock by hourly billing, and invest in the best equipment, training, and operators. Same thing, a company that does the best job, if they're done in 4 hours, they get paid 1/3 of what the worst company does. It takes 12 hours. One of the largest problems we see is we get stuck with 30 to 40% of all big rig wrecks now that have cargo only if they don't have comp and collision on the truck. So we get stuck with those jobs and not paid for them. So therefore it drives the cost of everything way up farther than it should be. And I know it can't be in this section, but there needs to be a minimum towing and recovery insurance requirement for commercial vehicles so it doesn't put the carrier out. They have coverage for this. Another section of this bill states that if there's a discrepancy, and it could be $100, that allows the trucking company to come pick up the truck, trailer, and cargo without paying anything. It's just not fair for Missouri small business. I'll be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Yeah, thank you very much. Any questions for the witness? Thank you very much. Anyone else here to testify in opposition?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Jeff Glenn, here on behalf of Missourians for Transportation Investment. We want to go on the record in opposition to a couple of specific provisions within the language, and we too appreciate the work that the representative has done and his desire for some accountability and transparency with the department. Our concerns mainly lie with the language that would reduce the motor fuel tax if the department's expenditures, internal expenditures, exceed 20% of total expenditures. And the concern we have there is that there's nothing in the language that actually prevents the department from doing that. If there is a half-cent motor fuel tax reduction, the department can continue to exceed that 20% threshold. and just award fewer projects as a result of that half-cent reduction to the state motor fuel tax. So we believe that there are opportunities there to provide some accountability. We worry that this is aimed at the wrong target, and that the driving public, the construction industry, engineers around the state would be the ones who would take the hit as a result of this. And then there's another provision within the language that deals with some outdoor advertising. The fiscal note on this one is concerning. It shows an estimated $130 million hit if that were to become law. So we're a little bit concerned about the federal language provisions surrounding outdoor advertising. And those are the two specific areas that we have concern with. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the witness? Thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to testify in opposition? Please just go ahead and come forward. Make sure you have your form filled out, and begin when you're ready, sir.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ralph Godsey. I'm General Counsel for the REX Group, and I'm also here on behalf of the Missouri Tow Drivers Association in opposition of Section 304-162, the non-consensual tow section of this. The REX Group, we have 3 tow companies and 11 sites up and down I-44 between St. Louis and Springfield, Missouri. At this time, we're running at about 25 to 30% uncollectability on large commercial vehicle non-consensual tows. They're not paying. Now, that's the non-consensual. We also have a significant number of consensual tows where they don't pay. The language in this proposed statute would worsen the situation for Missouri tow truck driving companies, which are by and large small mom and pop companies. The 304-162.6, if the department determines that there is a genuine dispute as to the reasonableness of amount of the fees, the towing company shall release the vehicle and cargo to the owner, operator, or insurer without paying any portion of the fee. That just means if there's a dispute, we lose our ability to collect on the work that we have performed. Going on down, storage charges shall cease accruing on the date of a complaint is filed. That doesn't mean that if the way it's written, if the complaint is filed, whether it's in good faith or not, storage fees cease on the day that that's done. Again, a huge hit to these mom and pop companies. Non-consensual tow shall not create a lien on a commercial vehicle. That's 304-162.9. If we don't have a lien on these vehicles, then the owner can show up and take it from our yard, our impound yard, at any time, whether they've paid or not. And there's no way they're going to pay after they've already collected it. That's our hammer for getting paid. So we are requesting that that language be omitted from this proposed bill. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? Thank you very much. Anyone else here to testify in opposition to House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Just go ahead and begin when you're ready, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Senators, good to see you. Mr. Chairman, Senators, we are testifying today. I'm David Clarich on behalf of the Missouri Association of Trial Attorneys, specifically with reference to 304.045, I believe, is the section. It's the on-track vehicles section that you just heard Mr. Henry testify in favor of. This legislation was inserted in an amendment by Representative Hurlbert. The Missouri Association of Trial Attorneys has testified in opposition to 304.035, both in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, because of the problem that this legislation raises, and that is it would add on-track vehicles, give them the same coverage and immunities that locomotives would have. The problem is those on-track vehicles do not have the same safety acumen that the locomotives have. They move faster. Sometimes they do not properly trigger the the warning signals. What we have worked with Mr. Henry over the last couple of years to achieve is that making sure that if you have these vehicles on the tracks, that they stop, as do vehicles, to make sure that the right-of-way is in fact passable and clear and safe. And that's all that we've asked. This legislation is not yet ready for prime time. We'd ask that it be removed from the omnibus transportation bill.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you very much, Ms. Claridge.
Thank you, Senator.
Anyone else here to testify in opposition to House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Just go ahead and begin when you're ready, and just make sure we have a witness form filled out. Thank you, sir. Of course.
Good afternoon. Matthew Smith with Associated Industries of Missouri. Just want to go on record of opposition to this bill. While we understand the frustration with transparency, we don't believe that we should ever be putting at risk funding for major transportation projects that benefit and that all Missourians depend on. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you
Thanks.
very much for your testimony. Anyone else here to testify in opposition to House Bill or House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Just go ahead and step right up and begin when you're ready, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Laura Holloway. I'm with the Missouri Municipal League, and here in opposition specifically to the portion that would reduce the motor fuel taxes. A portion of the motor fuel tax goes to municipalities for much-needed transportation projects, and so we oppose that section. Happy to help with any questions.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Anyone else here to testify in opposition to House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Please go ahead and proceed or begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Shannon Hawk. I'm here today on behalf of the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis. Same, we're just concerned about the negative impact that this could potentially have on local projects.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anyone else to testify in opposition to House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Just go ahead and begin when you're ready, sir. And let's just make sure we have a witness form filled out if you don't already.
Did it online.
Great,
Thank you,
thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman, member of the committee, for the record, Morgan Mundell with the American Council of Engineering Companies of Missouri, to oppose the bill, specifically on the piece of lowering the gas tax, which we feel will hurt projects and hurt Missouri drivers. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Anyone else here to testify in opposition to House Committee Substitute and House Bill 572? Anyone here to testify for informational purposes only? All right, just go ahead and come on up, sir, and proceed when you're ready.
So Ed Hassinger, Director of MoDOT, just want to testify for information. First of all, I want to thank the Chairman Fitzwater and Representative Hurlbert for working with us on some of these issues and making them a little more palatable, but I wanted to kind of really focus on the few items in here that have a pretty substantial financial impact to transportation in Missouri. So, of course, the first one you've heard about is the percentage limit that if MoDOT's internal expenditures exceed a certain amount, then the gas tax reduces by ½ cent a year. And so right now, with the large amount of legislatively designated funding and a fairly robust federal program, this is not an issue. But in the future, certainly when that money goes away, and with just the normal increase in, providing a cost of living increase to MoDOT employees every other year, we know that these lines are going to cross. It's just inevitable that that's going to happen. Now, it's probably not going to happen in this year or next year or maybe in the next 3, but certainly it's going to happen. So just to give you an idea of what kind of money we're talking about, every ½ cent generates about $20 million a year. 14 of that goes to MoDOT, 3 goes to cities, and $3 million goes to counties. So also, I just wanted to make sure the committee was aware that MoDOT has the 5th lowest administrative cost of any DOT in the country. So we're not spending money on things that aren't road and bridge related. In fact, we are one of the most efficient DOTs out there as it currently exists. The other parts of the bill that have some financial impact, certainly the idea of revealing the confidential engineer's estimate is problematic, and we think that probably has an impact of somewhere between about 50 million a year. It's kind of like when you go to the auto auction, if you're going to tell somebody the reserve, you know, you're going to get a different outcome than if people are truly bidding based on just what they think is the right price for a project. So we know that that will have a negative impact on the amount of projects we can do. The changes to outdoor advertising and some of the signing provisions as it relates to population, certainly that'll put us out of compliance with federal law, and the penalty is 10% of your federal funds. So that 130 million, while it sounds pretty extreme for something that doesn't seem like a very big deal, certainly we don't think it's a good idea to get out of compliance and put that money at risk, because it certainly would do that. And then I think the representative mentioned we've been working with the industry on those kind of issues that relate to specifications. I think we've made some progress, and I think we're in a pretty good spot there. And then also on the towing task force, while certainly we are kind of neutral on the issue at large, certainly we don't think road fund money should be used to administer that. And I think we've had some conversation about that probably needs to be funded with general revenue. So with all of that, I just want to highlight the fact that, you know, we've made great progress on condition of roads and bridges. Certainly we are putting more projects on the street than we ever have, thanks to the legislature and the federal government for some of the changes that have been made. But the things that would impact our ability to do that as it relates to finances certainly would be problematic. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Appreciate you filling us in on all that. Anyone else in opposition to House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572? Or excuse me, for informational purposes, rather. All right, seeing none, that'll conclude the hearing on House Committee Substitute for House Bill 572. Representative Hurlbert, any closing remarks at all?
No, I have a line-by-line breakdown from House Research if the committee wants me to provide that.
That'd be great.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Representative. All right, we're now going to move into the hearing on House Bill 138. If Representative Justus would like to come forward. Just go ahead and begin when you're ready, Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members, for hearing House Bill 138 today and for saving the best for last. House Bill 138 is a great bill. It's also a very simple bill. It actually changes 3 words in statute, and what it will do is allow retired law enforcement officers to have confidential plates through the Department of Revenue. 2 years ago, shortly after assuming my position as state representative, I had a constituent call me who was a retired police officer. He had been to the License Bureau to get his new plates and was informed then that he could no longer have confidential plates, and he thought that was a big concern. So this is the 3rd year for hearing this bill. It has been added to, the language is in Representative Knight's bill that you just heard earlier. So with that, I would take any questions.
Yeah, I do have a question. Just kind of define the confidential. Like, what does that all entail?
So the way the constituent relayed the message to me was, if he goes to Walmart, you know, he's put a lot of bad people in jail. They're out now. If he goes to Walmart, they see him driving away, they could write his plate down and be able to call the Department of Revenue for a small fee, be able to get some personal information that if this were enacted, they would not be able to get. So it just doesn't allow people to get their personal information.
What kind of information can they get?
It's a great question.
See, I was not aware of that. I didn't know you could just take a plate number and contact them.
Right, I've never done that myself either, but at the same time, I think I can Google anybody's name almost and probably figure out about as much personal information as I would get from that.
Yeah. Further questions for the bill handler? Seeing none, thank you very much, Representative. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of House Bill 138? Anyone to testify in opposition to House Bill 138? Anyone here to testify for informational purposes only? Seeing none, well, that'll conclude the hearing on House Bill 138. And I believe without a quorum, we're going to go and just stand at ease for a few minutes here. of at ease and establish a quorum. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Fitzwater, Schnelty,
Aye. Or here.
Brown, Gregory, Shore, Washington, Weber.
Having established a quorum with no further business before the committee, I make a motion to end the Committee on Transportation. Second. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. This will conclude the hearing on transportation.